Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli, and I am your guide for everything Chinese medicine, and I set it all up so us Westerners can figure it out. Now, before I really dive into what we're talking about today, we're going to go back to an older video, and no, I'm not going to do a, look at this one. I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to explain it. Now, what I want you to do is imagine that you are a city. Everything that you are is a city. Not just any city, we're talking medieval city. It's a city-state, okay? So you've got a big castle in the middle and, you know, a marketplace, and there's houses, and big old wall around that, and farms on the outside. And there's dudes walking around on the wall. They've got crossbows and spears and all of that, and they're looking out for stuff, okay? And every now and again they see some kind of barbarian or whatever, somebody that's not supposed to be there, show up and say, and he shaking a club going, "I want your stuff!" And no, click. Problem solved, okay? That's what your body is like from a Chinese medical perspective. Because of when Chinese medicine was invented, that's how China was. It's how all of Asia was. It's how all of Europe was. That was the world. Deal with it. Okay? So, now imagine that instead of the barbarian or whatever showing up at the gate of the city, shaking his club, going, "I want your stuff," he's a little bit smarter. He's able to, you know, wear a cloak, talk nice, get past the guards, get inside, and as soon as he's in, he starts wrecking the place. Okay? And he does this to several cities. Hi, Mari. She's here to help. Come on, say hi. So he starts wrecking the place and makes a right nasty time out of everybody's. Okay? Okay. So, your city gets wind of this from a few cities over, and they say, "Hey, there's a bunch of guys coming around, and they're breaking stuff, and some cities are even falling apart. Like, people are leaving. They don't want to deal with this anymore. They figure they're safer on their own. And there's even a lot of very, very bad stuff happening because of these. Okay? Infrastructure's being destroyed, and people are losing everything that they've got. And I do mean everything. So they take all this into account. The nobles of the city meet, and they say, "All right, so this is what we know about this group of people. We haven't seen them yet, but we don't know where they are, and they could show up at any minute. So what we need to do is we need to prepare. We need to double the guard, and we need to potentially get the citizenry involved. That way, if these guys make it past the guard, they've got another level of defense they have to get through. And, you know, hopefully somebody will get a lucky shot in and problem solved." Okay? So they're looking over all of the information and say, "All right, cool." So they go out in the populace, and the king says to the populace, "Every single one of you is now part of the army. You are a brick in this wall. And you are going to be supplied. We will help you." Okay? Now imagine this is a movie. So we get a montage. We're going to do a montage. It's basically, you know, people that were just farmers learning how to use a spear on a sack full of grain or sand. Okay? There's, you know, people learning how to shoot a bow, etc., etc., etc. All of that, okay? You've seen this movie, I'm sure. Okay? Now, let's move this metaphor into something a little bit more tangible. Okay? Again, the city is you. Okay? The infiltrator that comes in and just wrecks up the place is the coof virus that we have running around the world right now and is making a right nasty time. The information that we are getting from neighboring cities saying, hey, this is coming, make ready, that's the vaccine. Okay? Now, in this metaphor, normal daily function of the body is, John the Smith doing his thing. He's making his little metal doodads and whatnot for people. He's sharpening stuff, fixing stuff, all that. The baker's making bread. The meat butcher's making meat things. The farmers are doing their farming, and the kids are off playing games, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So, that's daily life. That's normal. If they're all being inducted into some sort of fighting force, they're no longer doing their thing necessarily, or they're going to do it less. Life has then been disrupted, and it's an inconvenience. This is why, especially with this vaccine, that people are getting the side effects that they are. Okay? Because the citizenry of their city has been co-opted. Okay? Things aren't getting made necessarily properly, and they're not getting used properly either. That's the body aches, the headaches, the joint pain, the swelling, stuff like that. There's this. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a red mark. It's actually dissipated. It used to be the size of my hand, right there. And it was warm, too. So, all of that, all of those side effects, okay? And for something like this, it's expected. It's normal. If it doesn't happen, I would actually be concerned. Okay? Maybe your body rejected it. Okay? So with me, and with a lot of people, I had basically a 24-hour flu or a 24-hour severe cold. But I wasn't infected with anything. My body was learning how to fight. They were learning how to fight something very specific. Okay? And I get more immune as time goes on. Okay? So the symptoms that I saw do make sense to me from a Chinese medical perspective. Okay? Also, I'm still kind of sore. Like, I'm not going to work out today. I'm still going to weigh and track my progress. I haven't done that yet. I will later. But I attempted to do some weightlifting yesterday. Bad idea. I only got a few reps into like any all of that, and it just, oh boy, was that not fun. And I was like doing low weight. It was like 10 pounds, nothing. Okay? It was not fun. So, I'm going to let myself recover a little bit more, and let's go into the symptoms. Alright, so, I started off with chills. Okay? No fever, just chills. And that then transitioned into achy joints, muscle pains, and a headache. Okay? So, what do these three things have in common? Well, it was pervasive throughout the body. It was worse on the backside rather than the front, which tells me Tai Yang. And given that this is a wind condition, specifically a wind heat, kind of makes a little bit of sense. But it looks like it comes in based on the way my body reacted to the vaccine. It comes in first as a wind cold. Wind cold always attacks the back of the neck. Wind heat always attacks the face. Okay? And causes headaches, neck pain, body aches, maybe a runny nose, and that's it. Okay? It looks like it comes into there, hangs out for about 2 minutes, and then boom, wind heat. So it burrows fast and then stalls. One of the things with this, as the issue advanced, by about mid-morning, right after breakfast, so I had a very light breakfast. I was ravenous, but I wanted extremely simple food like crackers, okay, bread. All of that is very, very earth food, okay. The stomach, which is your Yang Ming organ, along with large intestine, but the stomach is earth, large intestine is metal. So I'm craving earth stuff. I wanted to reinforce earth because that's what was being upgraded. Okay? Stomach was being upgraded from this vaccine. And one of the other things that tells me that is muscle aches. Yes, I was having joint pain, but it wasn't necessarily the joints. Boy, my nose is itchy today. Somebody's thinking about me. It wasn't necessarily the joints themselves that were hurting. It was the meat. Okay? It was all of the meat suit that was in pain, which tells me earth. Okay? Now, by about mid-afternoon, after I woke up from my nap, because I was exhausted, I was largely better. I was sore, but it wasn't, get up and move and like, oh, ow, like that. So not that big of a deal. Okay. Also, I didn't have any strength. Again, muscle. Again, muscle is dominated by earth, stomach and spleen. Therefore, Yang Ming's being affected. Okay? Because I was still hungry. But I wanted simple food. Okay? So as that progressed and I was just wiped out and went to bed, I went to bed at like 7:30, and I was out cold by 8. Mari, who's sitting right here beside me, she actually came down and asked me if I was okay, but you get the idea. She asked if I wanted to play, and I told her, no, sweetie, I'm too tired. So she said, okay, and she went and laid down and went to sleep, too. Okay. I woke up that night about 1 a.m., 2 a.m., deep cold sweat, which means my lung is now being upgraded. My kidney is also being upgraded, okay, from this thing, which makes sense. The lung dominates the outside of the body, and the kidney reinforces that, okay? The lung governs your ability to open and close your pores. It also governs your ability to get useful water from point A to point B, wherever that may be. All right? So that got upgraded in the middle of the night. Thanks, guys. And that was kind of interesting. I woke up. I wasn't able to fall back asleep until about 2:30 because I felt like I was swimming. And I actually had to wash everything. All of my sheets, clothes, all of that, because I soaked them completely through. And I woke up, I felt fine. Yeah, body was like, okay, upgrade's complete. So why is it I'm still not ready to exercise? Well, a couple of reasons for that. One, while I was down, I decided to sit and play video games. Good idea. Yeah, my Psoas is very, very tight right now. I'm actually in the process of rehabilitating it, and given that my kidney has just been fixed, that's not surprising. Because Psoas is an aspect of what, in Chinese medicine, we call kidney. Okay? So I have to rehabilitate that muscle. Also, it's a muscle, so it's heavily dependent on stomach, because it's also right on the stomach line, here on the abdomen. So that channel's still a little twingy. It's probably, we're waiting for the paint and the concrete to dry. Kinda, sorta. Okay? Also, I'm having trouble doing this, and coming from a sitting position is difficult too, which tells me coming from a sitting position is Yang Ming, so again, stomach, just like I said in my video on movement, and I'm having trouble turning, which is gallbladder. So why is that important? Because gallbladder is all about assimilation. Okay? Now, the small intestine decides, okay, let's keep this, let's toss that, that thing's garbage. But the gallbladder is the one with the absolute, final say in the matter. Gallbladder decides if any stimulus is worth keeping or not after the small intestine is done with it. So gallbladder says, yeah, we need to keep this. And holy crap, there's a lot to keep. Okay. Gallbladder is also very responsible for chills and fever emanating from the inside and not the outside. So chills and fever coming in from the outside world, as in I got a cold, that's all urinary bladder channel. Gallbladder channel is all about chills and fever coming from the inside out. This is things like malaria, inoculations that you're having a reaction to. Okay, that's all going to be gallbladder. So my gallbladder is a little bit stressed, and we're having to incorporate a whole bunch of brand new information that's extremely complicated and kind of hastily put together. Okay, so we're doing what we can, and I just gotta let my body get used to what's going on. That way, I'll be fine later. I also need to conserve my energy so that I can actually help my patients. In fact, I've got a patient today that I have to go see. I'm actually going to go get ready for him right now. I decided to, just have my jammies on to talk to you guys right now because I wanted to potentially show you the red spot that I had. But it looks like it's dissipating, so hooray. Alright, so if you guys have any questions about this whole vaccine stuff and if it's going to give you autism, no it isn't. If it's going to give you Alzheimer's, no it isn't. If it's going to make you infertile, no it isn't. You're welcome. Also, if you need any kind of reassurances and if you're concerned whether or not you should get it, feel free to let me know. You can leave that as a comment. You can also visit my website at vigintmed.com. That stands for Vigorelli Integrated Medicine.com. And you can shoot me an email there. I will get it and I will answer, I promise. Okay? If you could, please feel free to give a like, ring the bell on this. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. It does help out the channel. And I will be back later with something a little bit more interesting. Okay? So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.